Okay, yes, we're live. Okay. Hey guys, I'm here with Christy. Christy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Um, well, yeah, my name is Christy, and I'm an INFJ. That's all I have to say about that.
You sound like when like in school, like when they're like, "Oh, tell us an interesting fact about yourself" or something. Like when they go around the class, I was always the child that was like, "Hey, I'm Emily and I'm a girl," or like something really obvious.
Oh, right. It's just there's too much to say. Got it. I just can't pinpoint it ever.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start out with talking about how you discovered you were an INFJ.
Um, well, actually, my friend, she took the Myers-Briggs test at her high school, and then she was like really fascinated by it. So when we were about 15 or 16, she was like, "Oh, take this test," and I was like, "Okay." And then I got a bunch of letters, and then the profile just goes on and on and on. So I was like, "Okay, I'm this thing," and then I kind of dropped off for a couple years, and then um, someone else later on asked me what I was, so I took it again just to make sure. And then I really got into it that time. And um, so yeah, I'd taken the test a few times because other people have asked me, and then I really agree with it. I've read bunches of articles and like about the functions, and I'm like, wow, I've literally said this before. So I feel like it's legit, and that's how that happened.
That's awesome. Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of people it's weird because it's like we kind of have similar journeys, but it's interesting to hear the individual um, reasons why or how we got into typology. Um, I know before we went live, you were talking about that your dad is an ENTJ and your mom is an ESFJ. I mean ESFP.
Yes.
Um, and then your stepdad is an INFP.
Yes.
Would you like to kind of describe maybe at first growing up with an ENTJ father and an ESFP mother and kind of how that was different for you?
Yeah, so actually, like, I kind of anticipated this question, so I like kind of rehearsed the answer in my head like earlier today. um, so I feel like I've read that like ESFPs as mothers are like they're just really like endearing and really like they let their kid just like be who they want to be, and like that's how my mom was. And like I was kind of like spoiled between her and my grandma, which I don't know what her type was. So I was much closer to them. And then my dad, on the other hand, he he wasn't like he wasn't a bad dad. He wasn't mean or abusive or anything like that. But he kind of was like aloof and not really like my mom was the disciplinary, but also like the loving and endearing one. My dad was just kind of there. Like I don't really know. So it was just weird having like so much love and affection and kind of like coddling from one side of my family, and then just kind of him being there on the other side. So I didn't really like him. I didn't really connect with him. And as like a little like INFJs are little sensitive beings, like a lot of times when I was like left alone with him, like it would end up with me like crying or like some sort of like big thing would not even big thing, but just like I would end up crying if I had to be alone with him. I just didn't like it. He didn't treat me the same as what I was used to. Um, and one thing that like really stood out to me is that my mom, like for like birthdays and like just random gifts and like Christmas, like she would always get me like what I wanted, whether like I had to ask her for it or not. And he always got me like weird things that either like I didn't like and or both were not age appropriate. Like he got me like these real sophisticated drawing books when I was like 5 years old. Like they were like college drawing books. I was like, first of all, I was five. Second of all, I didn't like drawing. So like it was really weird. He kind of like, he doesn't have that well, he didn't at that time. have the same like emotional readings as my mom did. So it kind of took a while for us to connect on a more intellectual level, because I couldn't do that as a child with him. So and then both of them as extroverts always pushed me more than I would have liked to be, which is both good and bad. I feel like, at one point I'll be happy for it, because, you have to be pushed out of your comfort zone to grow. But there have been plenty of times where I was like, oh my God, why would you make me do that? Like, I'm so embarrassed. So, yeah. And I feel like both of them being so extroverted kind of made me more introverted. So I'm like, whoa, y'all got some big personalities. Let me tone it down. So I guess that's what I can say in short without getting off into many, many tangents about them.
I mean, I like tangents. So are your parents divorced?
Yes, they are. They got divorced when I was 10.
Okay.
Which, yeah, they clash on about every possible level they could have. I don't even I think about them now and I'm like, how did you guys even stand each other for 10 minutes, let alone think that you guys could get married? But I mean, it was never bad. They just weren't good for each other. So I'm glad that they got divorced.
I mean, you know what? You say you were glad that your parents got a divorce. I actually was so happy when my parents got a divorce. My parents got a divorce, I think, when I was 9. So we're kind of in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
But it was I was very happy because I'm not going to get into it just because of, I'm not going to throw my dad under the bus, but my dad was the reason my parents got a divorce. Just the way he acted, and it was hard. And so I can relate to that. It's interesting that your dad just bought you college supplies when you're 5 years old. That's so funny. It's funny do you think he was trying to push you in a certain direction?
Oh, he definitely was, because he is a contractor, and his main focus is pools. And so but he also loves art and he likes to be creative. And, he does plan. So he just likes to sit down and draw, whether it's more technical or more creative. And so, yeah, I think he just wanted me to he did want to push me to be an artist, which I mean, I'm not an artist, but I have a more creative tendencies than maybe some other people. So I think maybe he kind of saw that in me and then just kind of pushed it a little too much. I mean, he just wanted me to like what he liked and kind of thought that oh, this is what I like, so this is what's important to me, so this is what will be important to her. But when you're a kid, you only see things from your perspective. Your world is your world, and anything outside of it is what is this?
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
No, I don't. I have he has another son, but he's my half brother, but he's way older than me. I've never lived with him. And then my stepdad has a son who is my age, but only lived with me for about a year. So pretty much my whole life has been an only child.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I have a younger sister, so I feel like it might have been a different dynamic. When did your mom get remarried?
When I was 12. Yeah.
And how would you kind of did you know about your stepfather before they got married? Were you kind of involved in their relationship, or did your mom kind of keep it private from you?
Oh, actually, I was there the first time they met. They met on Christian Mingle. It's so hilarious to me. There's a whole other weird backstory to that, but I was there on their first date, and she had dated a couple other guys through her church, so I'd known them, and she would always have me close by. She never you know, put anyone before me. So like if she was dating a guy, like she knew that like if they could be trusted with me and if they like got along with me and like if they were okay with like me always being there, because like she would never leave me home alone. I don't think I was ever left home alone for the first time until I was 15. So
How old were you?
15.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She was, another thing about her, she was very, very, very protective. Like I couldn't even like go to the mall or like the movies or anything like without her like being right there. Which was embarrassing at the time, but now I'm thankful for like, wow, like she cared that much about my safety. But back to the original question. Yeah, so he actually moved in before they got married because he was helping take care of my grandparents while they were sick. And so that kind of like just escalated from there, and then finally they got married. So like he'd already been around for a while when they got married.
So how would you kind of describe your relationship with your stepfather?
Well, it was really rocky at first just because there was a lot going on in our family. And like I was, you know, at that ripe age of 12, and that was my crisis year. That was my problem year. Like that's when I decided to wild out. But now I feel like we just really get each other. Like sometimes like when like him and my mom not like clash, like fight, but just like, you know, little like personality clashes, like me and him, like I know we have like this way we talk with our eyes, like where we just know what each other's thinking when my mom doesn't know what we're thinking. And yeah, my mom she has some weird friends, so like we both are kind of like anytime she wants to go somewhere with them, we're like really, do we have to? And I just feel like we're always on the same level. Like, and I mean, my parents are my best friends. I honestly sometimes prefer, well, most of the time going places with them more than my friends. Cause like my friends kind of like, if it's somewhere that I'm going, that means a lot to me. Or like sometimes I just get nervous going out places. Like I'd rather be with my parents cause they know me better than my friends. So they definitely, we're just like on the same level. Sometimes though, I've noticed with INFPs that like, I think because they have introverted feeling. So I feel like sometimes their logic kind of gets lost in that. And it doesn't always make as much sense to me since I have extroverted feeling, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. And I kind of like look at things outward and they kind of like look at things more inward. And so sometimes that causes a clash, but it's still like, we kind of just banter, but it's kind of like more fun than serious, I would say.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. It would be really weird to have like an INFP stepdad or like stepmom, or just like a INFP family member. I don't think I have one actually. That's interesting that you have that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know. I always talk about socionics, but I just think of it's so interesting. I don't know if you know this, but in socionics, ESFPs are INFJs or IEIs, INFPs in socionics, dual. I mean quasi dual. So it's like our almost perfect match for each other.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's like yeah, it's interesting because you wouldn't think it. I think it's different for you because you grew up with your mom as your mom, being an ESFP. But for most INFJs, I would say like if you meet an ESFP, you wouldn't really think that you would get along so well. But it's interesting that your mom is an ESFP, so you actually see that. So, so kind of, I guess your parents aside, how would you describe yourself kind of as a younger child, and then maybe as an older child, a teenager, and then into adulthood? How would you say you kind of evolved?
I would okay, as a young child, I would say like I had like a really big imagination, and I was just kind of like always like in my fantasy world, and like just I just was like always in my head, always daydreaming, still kind of always am. Actually, I watched your 50 facts about me, and it was funny that you were talking about your Pocahontas doll, and then that you mentioned Snow White too, because Snow White was my favorite, and I had a little Snow White doll, and I had a little Snow White dress, and I would wear it every day. And one time, my mom dropped me off for Sunday school somewhere I'd never been, and when they asked me my name, like I remember standing in front of them, and I'm like, I'm just going to take this opportunity to be who I want to be. And I told them my name was Snow White. So I was so obsessed. Like if I watched a movie that I like I had a plethora of imaginary friends, and they were all from like the movies that I liked. And I would like convince myself that I was whoever I was from the movie that I would watch at that time. Which is funny because I was very, very into movies as a child. Now I can't stand movies.
Really?
Yeah, I guess I just burnt myself out or something. I don't know. um, so yeah, just the NI. I read about NI in childhood, and I was like, that is so me. Like I always had something that was my whole world. Like one in particular was I was obsessed with High School Musical. So everything about me was like obsession, like to the point where I know he said parents aside, but like my mom wouldn't let me watch certain things, like because she's Christian. So she didn't want me to watch Harry Potter because of like witchcraft, because she didn't want me to like that to be my world. So like that was me as a child. And then as a teenager, that's kind of like like life kind of starts happening, or you realize that if like life is happening to you, you realize like, oh, this is something bad. And that's kind of like, when I started to like develop like my anxiety and depression and all that. And I really, really started to develop like social anxiety. So like I hated everybody at school. Like if anyone was just like they would speak more than 2 words out, I'd be like, you're annoying, I don't like you, don't be around me. And I would also like I would attract people that had like similar issues to me, and I was kind of like their life support. And I guess I kind of still have like a lot of like obsessions as a teenager, like the way I did as a child. But I just kind of like really like secluded myself. Like I went to public school for 2 years, and then went to like a charter school that was basically like a homeschool, and just kind of like tried to just be as much as within myself as I could for that time. And now I don't know. I'm at an interesting place right now, I would think. I've taken the test like 5 times. Well, I've taken the test quite a few times, but the last like 3 or 4 times I've taken it, I keep getting INTJ, and I'm so confused. But I think I just went through so much of like, being too nice as an INFJ, and like, we always put like, not always, like I don't want to like brag about us like this, but like we have a tendency to put others before ourselves, and like understand others' feelings more than our own. And I think I just finally got to a point where I'm like, I can't do that anymore. Like, I can't stand everyone else. Like, I am what matters right now. So I think that's why I'm trying to, maybe like I'm in a point where I'm trying to develop my, we have introverted thinking, right? Yeah. I'm trying to like develop that function more, and it might be, since I'm focusing on that, it might be taking over the FE. Hello.
Flair was meeting on me. He's like, he wants to say hello.
Oh my gosh. What a beauty.
Yeah, she was a good girl. I thought I lost her this morning because I couldn't find her, and she was in a closet. Because my
Oh,
mom went on a trip and she left really early, so I was like freaking out. I like called Frank earlier today, and I was like, "Yeah, I just found Blair. I was so scared. I thought I thought I lost her."
oh my God. Wait, was it like a kind of just like a freak out? Oh, maybe I lost him, or wait, is it a him or her?
It's a her.
Oh, her, or was it like I legit think I lost my cat?
I legit thought that I lost her
Oh,
because I so she actually she's all three of my animals. So I have Blair, who is he's obviously right here, and then I have Pumpkin, and he's like this 16-year-old cat, and then I have Henry, who just turned 1. He's a dog, and I take out Henry in the morning, and Blair didn't come, which she always does, especially like
mm,
if the door is open, and she likes to sneak out of the house. Sometimes, like she doesn't go far, but sometimes she'll go into the grass, and I saw it because my mom's actually done this before, where she's like Fleur snuck out of the house, and like we didn't see her because she's really easy to. I mean, because she's black, you kind of just sometimes don't see her,
mm,
especially at night. So I thought that she might have like snuck out, and like the rationale that I have, because I was like looking for her everywhere, and she ended up being in a closet that has the water heater. So it was because my mom kept her luggage in there. But anyway, she's just the type of cat that like if someone found her, they could just pick her up and like take her away because she's just so good. Oh, and here's Henry. Henry's obsessed with
hello,
me.
Henry. I've seen pictures and like your cats in your videos, but I don't think I've ever seen your dog. I knew his name was Henry though.
This is Henry.
Oh my God, hello.
He's a Chihuahua poodle. Oh wow, my mom's phone number's on there. You
Oh,
guys,
well, I
do not
totally
call
could
my
not.
mom.
I
So
could not see it at all.
I'm okay with you, but but like, yeah, don't call my mom. If you guys saw my mom's phone number, she will not like that. But anyways, yeah. So what were we talking about? I'm sorry, I got really distracted. Oh, you were talking about how you've been testing as INTJ lately.
Yes.
Um, I mean, I would even be open to like thinking about maybe like the possibility that you might be an INTJ. But if you've already looked into it, the tests are very flawed and it's very
Mhm.
easy to mistype. So I wouldn't really, I mean, I think it's always good to kind of second guess yourself or like, I mean, not always, but like it's always good to kind of open up and like think, oh, maybe I'm this type. Like, because I
Mhm.
actually mistyped originally as an ENFJ, and I looked at all of the types, and I like spent hours and hours like on each type. And I mean, it's still a work in progress, but it wasn't until I felt like I was 99.9%, almost 100% sure that I really felt like that I was an INFJ. So it very well could be that you might be mistyped, or it could just be the test. Like if you really resonate with INFJ and you're just typing as INTJ, it really could
Mhm.
be because we're natural people pleasers. So I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah. So
Yeah, and I've read that just depending on where you are, like at different points in your life, like sometimes you will just type differently because you go through changes.
Henry, sorry.
So I just really, and even when I took it as an INFJ, I was always like everything else was like 80 to 90% like introverted, intuitive, and judging, but my thinking and feeling was always like 48 to 52. Like I would be 52% feeling. So and I've also read that a lot of times INFJs mistype as INTJs because we do like, even though we're feelers, we're very like, we value like logic and like rationale, and So I can see like if I'm at a pivotal point in my life that maybe I am having those tendencies, but I do like think I am an INFJ still.
So, kind of going off of that, that you say that you're at a pivotal point, um, kind of what do you think triggered that? And also, if you don't mind, I don't know how old are you?
Oh, I'm 20. You know, I was gonna say that in my introduction, but it slipped my mind. I'm
That
20.
makes sense because you just got out of your teenagehood.
Right.
So you're really entering adulthood now. How does it feel to be 20?
Actually, it's funny because from the time I was like 10 years old, people always thought I was like a lot older than I appeared or that I really was. And then as soon as I turned 20, like I'm getting all these comments like that, oh, you know, you're so young, or like, oh, you're 16, or oh, this or that. And I'm like, all my life I've been told that I look older, and now nobody thinks that I am my actual age. So that's funny. I feel like, you know, from the time I was 18 to 20, I didn't really like feel like an adult. I still felt like a kid. And I just like got my license this year. So a lot of freedom did come this year as opposed to like when I initially turned 18. So I feel like I didn't really feel like an adult until now. So it's a little scary, but like I think, you know, being told you're an adult at 18 and then having 2 years to really come into adulthood, I feel like I'm more ready for it now. I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm still very young. I'm still like 20 is still kind of, you know, you're a baby. So I'm not like, oh, you know, I'm this big fat adult now. But I feel like I'm just ready for whatever may come next. Not too much though, because I will get overwhelmed. But
What are your plans? Like, what are you wanting to do?
well, right now I'm just going to school full time, and thankfully, like my mom wants me. That's what she wants me to do. She just wants me to focus on school while I can, and I'm actually like in the process right now of applying to transfer. So I'm working on my AA right now at a community college, and then I'll be transferring, and I'm majoring in communications. And so I just want to like, I don't know, I just, you know, like, because we're empaths. So I feel like, and, you know, being introverted, it's a lot easier to really, you know, think before you speak and think about how to speak to different people, as opposed to someone that just like reacts before, because some people react before they process and some people process before they react. So I think I like kind of have the upper hand in that. And, you know, whether it be like human resources or as like I don't know, I kind of went down this route because it's a lot more open and there's just so much that it can apply to. So I'm not really like pigeonholed as opposed to like if I had gone for something else. So I'm still trying to figure that out because I don't really, it's funny that I am like passionate about a lot of things, but when it comes to like career wise, I'm like, there's nothing that I want to do. Like I want to be in my house my whole life.
I can relate to that. No, I think communications is a great major to have. I feel like it's such a versatile. Like if you, I mean, you're obviously not in this position now, but when I was applying to jobs and stuff, it was like they would have like a specific major they were looking for, or like kind of specific majors, and then communications would always be kind of the major that fit everywhere. Which that's something that's really awesome.
Yep, that's because I was a childhood development major before because I wanted to work with like special needs. I think I just went about that the whole wrong way because I wanted to work with special needs adults, but I was trying to like go the special needs route through like early childhood development, and then I just didn't see myself really going anywhere without going anywhere that I wanted to without getting like my master's or like my PhD. And like, I did not want to do all that. I cannot spend that much time in school. And like, I wanted to work with special needs, not in a school with every type of child. I don't really relate to children very well. So, but I went that route because I like psychology, but I feel like psychology is not really like competitive. It's not like, everyone wants to be like a psychologist. Everyone's going to have a BA in psychology by the time I'm out of college. So I was like, I feel like a lot of psychology kind of goes into the concept of communications.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, I really think psychology is interesting, but I didn't ever become a psychology major either, and I also didn't take a psychology class. Have you ever taken a psychology class?
Yeah, I just took the intro because it was required like for my general ed, and like I was like, well, I'm going to take psychology, but it was the content was only boring to me because like I already knew everything.
Yeah, I feel like it would be the same way for me too. So when did you kind of discover that you kind of had an interest in like helping out special needs people?
I'm trying to think because I know there has to be something from like early on, because in high school, my first high school I went to, they had a club called Be the Change, and it was like where they would have like potlucks, and like they would do like a special they would do a prom for the special needs kids because like they didn't feel comfortable going to like the prom that everyone else went to. So they would just like have their own events with them. And like I was just like drawn to it. And I know there's something like before that like made me drawn to it at that point, but like I can't quite remember. But yeah, I was just really drawn to it. And like I didn't really like wasn't always involved in the club, but I was involved in the events. And like I just love how like real and like honest they are. They don't really like put up a front of like who they are. They just be who they are, and I love it. And I think they just, I don't know, I just really love them. I really like connect with them. And then when I was working at a thrift store when I was 18, and there is like this organization, and they would bring in a group of like special needs adults, and they would like, we would give them tasks, like they would ask if we needed help with anything. So like they would like empty our racks and like clean our windows and like sweep and dust and stuff like that. And I just always loved having them there, and like helping them and like teaching them like the work ethics. And like they were just always so enthusiastic and like so willing and just so ready to help. And I just love how real they are. Like I don't know, just something about them. And I just think like, I think a lot of people that don't understand, like kind of look down on them. And it's like they just like they want to do like everything that we can do, and they just need a little like extra help. They need someone that has the patience to work with them and teach them in a way that they understand. I mean, I think we all need to be taught in a way that we understand. Nobody learns the same. So I just feel like I had a lot of patience and like understanding for them. So that's what made me want to work with them. And they just always made me so happy. Like I hate people, like I hate talking, I hate being around people, but like I always was so happy and like felt so like energetic around them, which is very not common for me.
That's interesting. Actually, when you keep on saying I don't like people, it kind of does sound INTJ to me. So I would be open to that. I would be open to maybe INTJ. There's nothing. I mean, I think INTJs are awesome. You very well could be INFJ as well, but yeah, because yeah, I also relate to like special needs children as well and adults. just special needs people in general, I've always kind of gravitated towards them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting that we share that similarity.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things do you like to do in your free time?
I like to sit in my bed. I'm just kidding. Actually, like, I'm not really like good at like drawing or like art or anything like that, but I kind of like to just be creative and always like do little things with my hands. I also wouldn't say I'm very good at cooking, but I like to cook. So I like to spend a lot of time like meal prepping and just like cooking and working in the kitchen and finding different recipes and stuff like that. I'm not good at baking though, but I like cooking. Um, so I don't know. I like doing like any type of like little creative, like crafty thing I can, or like cooking or sleeping. I do like to go out though. Like I love finding new food places that I haven't been to, and like I'm very much about like the environment of the place. So I just like going to, for lack of a better term, like aesthetically pleasing, you know, like I just love being in like beautiful environments. So I would like to, I go to the gym. I like to go to the gym, and I would like to do more like physical things like hiking or like rock climbing and things like that. But I don't really have any friends that will be able to keep up with me. So that is for whenever I find friends that I can do that with.
I can relate also to that, like not really always having someone to do things with.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just looking when you were talking. I was looking at. Have you looked at the chat yet on the video?
I know. How do I do that?
So just go to, I guess, my channel and go to the video, and then what I always do is I just mute the audio on the video,
Mm-hmm.
like the video that's on YouTube, and in the chat, like people are saying some things. For example, Samantha said that you are so cute. So.
Thank you, Samantha. I bet you are too.
She is. She's very pretty. So let's see. Yeah, you should look at it because I think people are gonna ask you some questions on here.
Oh, okay. So if I open a new tab, it's not gonna like mess up like the video on here, right?
No. If you just open a new tab. And even you could pull the tab like out so you can just like see both at the same time.
Oh, well, you know, they say us INFJs are old souls, and I definitely do not have good luck with technology. This is the first time I've ever used the webcam on this laptop, and I've had it for like 3 years.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Let's see. Oh, Jeffrey Sherman asked, "Do you like music, Christy? Is it of high importance?" I've heard that from fellow INFJs.
I do love music, and actually, most of my obsessions in high school that I mentioned earlier were revolved around music or bands or some sort of, you know, artist or singer. That is me.
Are you looking at it? Are you looking at the video?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so sorry that I'm messing this up.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know if maybe I'm messing it up right now.
Oh, no, I got it. It's just my computer was kind of lagging, so it wouldn't mute it as soon as I pressed it.
Oh, I see.
Okay, the music question. Yeah, and actually, like right now, I'm really sad because like I haven't found a lot of music that I've been connecting to lately, and yeah, so like music is important to me, so that makes me really sad that I haven't found a lot of music lately. that has interested me. But one thing I do love about music is like if I have a favorite song or favorite band, like it is so important for me to like go see them live. Like it's like one of the like greatest experiences. Like it's my favorite thing to do. Like and it's just so beautiful to me. Like I've cried at like concerts before just and or cried on the way there, cried on the way home just because like yeah, like it just really is like that important to me, I guess.
What's your? Oh, I don't know what's going on with my thing. I think it might have to do with these headphones.
Oh no. Yeah, you're frozen?
No, it just keeps on. The screen keeps on going black.
Oh. Well, on my end, you're frozen. That's what I see. But oh, I see on the YouTube video that it keeps yeah, it's black on there.
Here, let's see. Here, I'm gonna take the headphones out.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's not working. All right. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, it's okay if you guys don't see me. Uh, what was I? What was I meaning to ask? Oh, what's your music taste?
Hmm. It's very much evolved into many, many things actually, like these past couple years. But I used to really like hardcore like rock and like punk and stuff like that. And then it kind of evolved to more not like the typical indie that like you would automatically think of when you hear indie, but more like a more rock indie mix, like calmer, not always so in your face rock. And then hmm right now I have three playlists. I have one that's called I'm Still Hipster, so like that's like indie and like basic like hipster stuff. And then I have one that is like all my um like just like the basic stuff you hear on the radio. Like I like rap and like all that basic stuff that everybody else likes. And then I have my emo trap playlist. So like it really is just and my when I feel hardcore. So it's just it's all of the above except for country.
That's so funny. I don't. Okay, well, I guess I'm just not gonna be in the video anymore. That's okay. I wonder what's happening with my side, but anyways, I don't like country as well. Um, there's like very few country songs that I like, but I also like kind of a different variety of music as well. And it's funny that you called your playlist I'm Still a Hipster. My playlist, I have a playlist that I've had actually since I think I was 21 when I created this playlist, and it's called Hipster Vibes. For this bubble tea place I used to work at, and I still listen to it all the time. It has a lot of indie music on there. I like indie music mostly, but I listen to everything. I listen to like Drake and like Kendrick Lamar. Like,
Yes, same. Did you name it Hipster Vibes ironically?
Kind of, but I also like people called me like a hipster, which is funny because I moved to Seattle because I was like I want to be with my people. And actually, I feel like in Seattle, people are not that unique. And maybe this is like controversial. I feel like people in Seattle are kind of just all have the same aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. But I mean, like, oh, it's fine. But I was just like, oh, I just want something different. But what about you? Did you do it ironically?
Yeah, because well, when I was in high school, like I did list like everything I listened to was like nobody knew who they were. Like I thought I was so cool because I listened to all this good music and like but nobody knew who it was. Like, you're not cool if people don't know what you're talking about. But so then, yeah, like a bunch of people would like call me a hipster, and then like just how much the word got overplayed, and like how people say like, oh, I see someone said, did she say emo? I also named that one ironically too. I love to be ironically cringy. So that's kind of, yeah, it was ironic. And it was just because it's all my music from high school. So that's why I called it I'm Still Hipster, because it's all my old music that I listened to when people would call me a hipster.
Well,
People still do.
people. Oh, is it working?
Is your thing working or the chat?
Is the video working?
Oh, let me go. Oh, wait. Oh, you're not frozen to me anymore.
Can you see myself or?
I can see you. Oh, yes, there you are. You're back. Wait, yes, you were there for a second.
So I think it was just paused. But yeah, I think maybe INFJs in general are, just those kind of introverted types. I think we can kind of be seen as hipsters or different just because we like different things than other people.
Mm-hmm. We have that individuality complex, so I feel like that's kind of, I mean, we are drawn to those things, but it's also like we feel different, so we want to be different. And then we kind of like pursue those things more than, I feel like, if we didn't feel so set apart from people. At times, I'm not saying that we are, but we tend to, kind of have a pity party about, oh, like, I'm so different. Nobody gets me.
Yeah. Is the audio on your side?
Is what?
The audio on your side?
I heard is the audio.
Can you hear the audio all right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I agree with that. And actually, I'm just looking at the chat right now. Someone said, where is it? Singularity said, try City Bird by Norah Jones.
City Bird by Norah Jones.
I don't like Norah Jones. And it's so horrible because she's a great artist, but I was like traumatized as a child listening to one of her CDs on loop because my mom was obsessed with that. So like anytime I hear Norah Jones, like any like I can like I don't know if you can do this too, but like when I hear a song, the first note or like right when the song starts to play, I know exactly what song it is. Before. And like if I hear like Norah Jones, I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh no.
You might like her. I mean, again, it's nothing against her. It's just
I'll give her a second chance for you.
Yeah, I just can't do it. It's just a weird thing about me.
That's how I feel about any church music.
Oh my gosh! Wait, sorry. Joe Media said, "Don't know why I didn't come." I hate that song. I hate.
Oh my god.
Okay, and you're experiencing Henry and Fleur together. Again, Henry is obsessed with Fleur.
How amazing.
Okay. Well, I won't go on a rant too much about how I just like those songs, but I really do want you to find some songs that you enjoy.
Me too. It's getting hard out here listening to the same things I listened to when I was 15.
What are some artists that you listen to?
my favorite band ever. Like sometimes I'll put them on I listen to them all the time, and then sometimes I just get overwhelmed and like almost like tear up listening to them like out of nowhere for no good reason. They're called the Front Bottoms. They're pretty popular now. Not when I first started listening to them. Hello, I'm still hipster, but just kidding. Yeah, they're called the Front Bottoms, and I guess I would say they're like my all-time favorites. And like I've went to see them live like so many times just because like it just means so much to me. I just love them, and their lyrics are like they're not weird like out there weird, but just the way they write and the way they phrase things and the way they word things, it's kind of weird that they make it work into a song because they're really like repetitive and say things in like a I don't know. They use the most unlikely of phrases and make it work for a melody, I would think.
Yeah. I'll have to see. What other bands do you like?
Let's see. Oh, well, onto my more like basic playlist. Like I don't know. I have this. I mean, everybody's obsessed with him, but I am obsessed with Post Malone. Yeah, so like the Front Bottoms and Post Malone, like those are like two ends of the spectrum. I like old like punk, like Black Flag and like Descendants. I think I'm wearing a Descendants shirt under this sweater actually. I love Led Zeppelin, so yeah, I guess that's some of my main ones.
Well, people are asking, Radiohead, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Paramore.
I don't know what, like I never really got into Radiohead or Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, I know they're great and I probably would like them. And I mean, I've heard songs by both of them, but I'm just like, it's so late in the game for me now. I did have a Paramore phase when I was like 10, which I mean, I love Paramore. They're great and I love their new sound. But I did not to say like, oh, I had my phase, but I did like really like them back in the day.
Well, we liked them at both times until we were only 20.
Well, I mean, that was 10 years ago.
No, I was 15. It feels weird, like, saying that. Like, which, by the way, my cat Pumpkin is. Wait, when's your birthday?
June 14th.
So you just turned 20. Yeah, Pumpkin is 4 years younger than you.
Oh my God.
So Pumpkin is closer in age to you than I am to you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, by a year, right? You're 25.
Yeah. So, but I think that's cute. Pumpkin is not amused by Henry right now. He does not like Henry.
Oh, poor Pumpkin.
Oh, do you like Panic at the Disco? Someone asked.
I never really got into them either. Like I wasn't into like the big like I didn't like them or Fall Out Boy or MCR. I don't know what was wrong with me. Sorry, y'all.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of weird because when they were popular, you were kind of really young. Not saying that I wasn't young either, but you weren't really at the age where that kind of maybe appealed to you.
Well, actually, it's funny because I remember I'd go on YouTube and I'd go through like all the suggestions like on the side, and I'd be listening to my music and I'd always see them, but I just always clicked past them. I don't know what it was about them that like didn't appeal to me. So like I was like just barely missing them. Like I listened to I remember A Day to Remember was like really, really big to me. They still are. I still love them. And like A Day to Remember. oh, why am I blinking right now? But just more so along the lines of those bands and less so along the lines of like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and MCR.
Yeah. What? So you kind of talked about this before we got on chemistry.
Bless you. Bless you.
But you said that your best friend is an ENTP.
Yes, she is.
So how would you describe your relationship and kind of how you discovered that she was an ENTP?
We always say that we are the other halves of each other's brains. And we always say that we are the same but opposite versions of each other. And I made her take the test a couple years ago when I had taken it again and then started to get into it. And I was like, I need to know what my best friend is. And then I was like, oh, no wonder. Like, which I think it's funny because usually like INFJs, like for friendships, like ENFPs are their ideal matches. And then for dating, ENTPs are their ideal matches. But like and it's also interesting because ENTPs usually, it's kind of like more rare, like for a female to be ENTP, like it's usually like males. So yeah, like it's like when we go into a store, I'm the type of person that will walk up and down every aisle like 3 times looking for what I'm looking for. And as soon as she goes in the store, she goes straight to an employee and doesn't even try to like look, even if she knows where something is. She just goes to an employee and asks him where it is. And like it sometimes like I get panicky, like how extroverted she is. And then sometimes she just does not have effort for or like time for like to coddle me and how introverted I am. Which I mean, it's good because we're both like, you know, ENTPs can kind of be like intolerant to like not intolerant to others' needs, but like if they are like if they're not like fully developed and they're more like selfish, which I'm not saying ENTPs are selfish, but like if they are, then like they'll kind of like not really like care for not I don't want to say like something bad. Something I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not trying to like say it in an offensive manner. But I'm just like me being the way I am has really helped her like try to look at things like from a perspective other than her own, and then like for her being the way she is, she's really helped me get out of my comfort zones.
Yeah, I think that's really good to have in a friend. I actually have a close friend, and she's an ENTP as well. But it's a bit different. It's actually interesting that you say like about your shopping style. I feel like when I was younger, I was kind of more like you. And I think I still am to an extent. Um, like typically I'll go to a store and I'll know what I want to get and I'll try to find it myself. But sometimes if I just like I guess if I feel like I don't know where something is, I will go up to an employee. And I think that just comes in time. Because at 20 or even like maybe a little bit younger, but yeah, probably at 20, I was not wanting to talk to, I was like avoiding the people at the store. I still do that to an extent, but I am kind of, I'll bite the bullet and just go up to someone.
I'm getting better at it. But, and I mean, also usually like if I go into a store and I know what I'm looking for, chances are like I'm more than not, like I know where it's at. Like I wouldn't go into a store looking for something that I didn't already know was there.
That makes sense.
Which, yeah, I don't like to leave things up to chance.
Oh my gosh. Henry, shut up.
I just realized how like dark it got for me.
Yeah, it did get really dark.
Did that help a little bit?
Now your face is glowing.
This is my salt rock lamp right here. That's what I turned on.
I have one as well. So, kind of, what? So you kind of talked about like what stuff you like to do in your free time. Are you involved in any like activities in college, or is there something that you want to be involved in?
Um, Actually, like I tried to get involved in the art club my first year there, and that was a big mistake. It was just really they were so unwelcoming. I'm not saying like art clubs are weird, but my art club, it was weird. So like I kind of was like, oh, I'm never getting involved in nothing again. And then but actually this year they started the astronomy club, and my astronomy professor is an INFJ too. So I was like, oh my God, like this is so for me. Like and everyone was so excited to get it started. And like I was so excited to be a part of it. And then once they planned it and got it all set up, it was on days that I have class. So I can't I'm still a part of it. Like I can go to the events, but I don't attend the club meetings. But I have I have a hard time like getting like socially involved into things like that, just because like I feel so out of place, and like I feel unwelcomed, or I feel like if I don't know the routine or like the procedures or like of how they like just conduct their meetings, like I feel like I'm in the way, or like just I'm not like a real part of it. But I did step out and try to join my astronomy club. But I don't know. I really like, I feel like I'm so good at entertaining myself, and like I keep myself busy that I don't know, just things that like get me involved really always appeal to me, I would say. Which I mean, on the one hand, it's like it's good that like I know how to amuse myself, but on the other hand, it's like that can totally lead to like isolation, just depending on how much effort I'm putting into myself or not.
No, I understand that. I think our natural tendency is to try to kind of avoid that kind of stuff. I resonate so much when you said that you feel like you kind of feel uncomfortable when you don't um know the procedures, or you kind of don't know like the routine of the club or anything like that. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
I felt too. I do think that it is worth a shot to go out there and really put yourself out there into things that you wouldn't even think you would like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but like when I was a little bit younger than you, I joined um, Model UN at my college, at my university, and it was probably one of the best decisions I made in college. And it was something that I thought I would never like, um, because it got because through that I met like so many awesome people. I also met a lot of crazy people, but yeah, like I mean, if I wanted to start a story time YouTube channel, like my sister's like, you would have the craziest stories and you wouldn't even have to exaggerate any of them.
Oh my God, you totally should.
No, no. I just there's some crazy people that like to the point. Yeah, like I'm not gonna get into that, but it's maybe not always the safest thing. Um, so, but anyways, through that I also got the opportunity to travel for free with my university,
Mm-hmm.
and we traveled to like Europe and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I think like I mean, I guess the point is just I think it's really awesome that you have an astronomy club or astrology. You said astronomy, right?
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it was astronomy. Um, because actually, I wanted to take an astronomy class as well, and yeah, I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah, well, they just started, so I'm hoping, because next semester will be my last semester there, so I'm hoping at least like they can get, at least one or two events within that time, so I can like at least feel like I was part of it for like a little bit, and have like a little bit of experience, just being part of something and going somewhere. They were talking about going to like our observatories, or going camping, because we can't really like see the stars from where we are, just because like of the city pollution and stuff like that. So which would be very much out of my comfort zone, because I can't even go places with my friends half the time without freaking out. So to go with like a whole group of people that like I only spend 2 hours with a week would be crazy for me.
What are kind of things that you hate in society?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Sorry, I think my audio is weird. I might have to put these back in. It's like echoing. Um, what are some ways that you kind of learned to deal with social anxiety?
I try to let like my logic, being so over emotional for so long really helped me to like condition myself to like let my logic take over. So like I've told myself like, just we're kind of all on the same page. Like if I think I'm going to embarrass myself, like I've tailored and conditioned my behavior so much because of my social anxiety, that like now I'm at a point where it's like I can't ever possibly embarrass myself. Like I know how to act in public. Like there's people that don't. There's people that really are out here making a fool of themselves, and I am not one of them. And I kind of tell myself, like, if I think someone's going to laugh at me or like make fun of me or like look down on me or like look at me weird for anything, it's like that's their problem, not mine. It's like their problem if they can't like just be a decent person and like see that people are different, people act different, and if I do something that's like out of what they would expect, then like that's their fault for not being like having a more open mind to like my behaviors.
Yeah.
And also just like not everyone cares, not everyone realizes, not everyone is watching your every move. And like I feel like as an INFJ, like we're very like with the INFJ stare, and like we really do like watch some people's every moves, but not everybody is like that. So there's not always someone with their eyes on me waiting for me to fail. And even if there is someone with their eyes on me, like, oh well.
Yeah. I think, I mean, you and the people that have their eyes on you, you don't really want to entertain them anyways. Like if people are kind of looking at you to fail, like what kind of person is that?
Right.
Um, that kind of goes into like confidence and stuff. And how would you say like your confidence level is?
Well, it used to be really low, which is obviously like I feel like you don't have social anxiety if you don't have low, wait, where am I wording this? Like it's low confidence comes with social anxiety. Like they just go hand in hand. So, but actually like I was like overweight for like most of my life, and then finally like I got it together, and like I lost a lot of weight, so like that really helped me be more confident. And I noticed that people really did treat me differently, just based on like how I looked. And it is sad, because it's like there's people out there that like still like are overweight, or maybe like aren't the ideal beauty standard, so they're like not getting taken as seriously as they should have, not being treated as nicely, not being considered as much as they should be. But thankfully for my case, like it's sad to see that they treat me different because of how I look, but on the other hand, it is nice to like be like, wow, people treat me a lot better than they used to, and like it's nice to be treated nice for once, you know, even if it is like based on the fact that I look different now. So I think like just having that like complete, like when I started to notice how people treated me differently, it did kind of like boost my confidence and made me realize like people take me more serious now, and people are more willing to listen to me now, and people are like more receptive to me now. And so that just that's okay. That did boost my confidence, I guess. I still do like second guess myself all the time, and like I don't compare myself to others as much. So I kind of just compare myself to like what I want to be. And, you know, kind of like as an idealist, like I'm always going to be want to be more than I am, or be more than like I can be at that moment. So I'm always going to like be taken down a few notches by that. But I would say like, I just know that everyone has like confidence issues or has had confidence issues. So I don't like let my confidence issues like uh, really dictate much in my life, other than, you know, having a little pity party every once in a while by myself.
Um, what about like kind of your experience with dating and stuff? How would you describe kind of, I don't know if you've had any experience, but
In one word, awful. um, I was what I saw your I was watching your dating as an INFJ, and like kind of hearing you talk about your unrequited love videos too. And I kind of had like similar experiences. Like I always had like a big crush on like someone that like either I did know well or like I didn't know well, and for some reason I was just obsessed with them for like no good reason, and like no one ever liked me back. A couple of times I had one relationship and in high school for about like a year and a half, towards the end, so like it went into like my adulthood. And it was, I knew after 6 months that like I should have cut it off, but like I couldn't. I don't, well, one is because I was at a place where like I wasn't ready to like do things on my own, and like I didn't have many friends, so it was like, you know, I have someone here to do things with me all the time. And then I was like, I convinced myself that like in a relationship, like you're going to put up with no one's perfect. You're going to have to put up with other people's behaviors, whether you like it or not. And you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. So that way, when, you know, you slip up, they'll do that for you. And that never happened. It was just always him, his issues after his issues after his issues. And then finally, I was able to cut that off after a year of knowing I should have. And just, I mean, I've dated a couple people since then, but like they didn't really last. Like people just kind of like drop off on me, like I didn't know where. It's so weird, but I mean, it used to make me really sad, and now I'm not worried about it, because I'm like, okay, if someone's just gonna drop off on me for like no good reason, like that's not the type of person that I need in my life. And so, and I always was kind of someone that like, not like, you know, those whiny type of people that are like, oh, I just want a boyfriend, but like I just really I love knowing everything there is to know about a person, and you don't always get that in friendships, but that's like a given when you're in a relationship. And I love loving people, and like I love adoring them, like if I feel that connection with them. So like it always was like, oh, you know, like I want a boyfriend to like feel that with, like, but I kind of not gave up on it, but like that's not really like what's important to me right now. And I realized that like it'll come when it's gonna come, and like I don't think me personally, I'm in a place where that needs to come right now.
well, again, you are a baby. I think of where I was at 20, and I mean, already I feel like you're, in some ways, just by talking to you, I feel like you're more mature. And What type do you think your boyfriend was in high school?
I think he was an ISFJ, but he tested as an INFJ, but I know it's because he like I kind of also think like he had like certain like mental like not like or mental health issues that made him he kind of like took on my personality when it's not who he I don't think he really knows who he was. So like I think he was an ISFJ. I don't think he was an INFJ.
Interesting. Yeah, he probably really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I mean, well, I don't know, but just from what you said, it's yeah. As far as dating goes, it's hard. How long would you date people before they kind of dropped off?
It's always been 2 months. I don't know what it is about that 2 month mark for me, but it's 2 months.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I kind of feel bad because I've always been the person that drops off. So I've been the guys, the bad. Really?
I do
So I
that to
kind of,
friends, not to guys.
what?
I do that to friends, not to guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that with a few guys. More, I mean, I've never been broken up with. I've always done the breaking up. So typically it's yeah, it's kind of a short-term thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not good. I mean, it's been since I've dated. So with Frank, it's been like almost a year since I've dated any, well, been in a relationship with anyone. I've gone on dates with people, but so I kind of gave myself time to just like be like I need to be more serious
Mm-hmm.
about this, because yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know. So I kind of understand different perspectives on that front. Um, you talk about like how you just like kind of notice everything about someone. How would you like kind of describe that to people? Because I can relate to that as well.
Um, like if I care about someone, or even if I just enjoy someone that I may not even be close to them, but like I enjoy their presence like at the moment. Like I really do like I like to watch everything they do. And I like to be able to say that like I know someone's like, I know like their family issues. I know who their favorite person in their family is. I know who their least favorite person in their family is. I know their like what means a lot to them, what doesn't mean a lot to them. I know their pet peeves. Like I'm really good at like holding a lot of information and like connecting information to different things. So like I just love to like know all there is to a person, and I know how to like get that information out of people. Like I know the right things to ask. Um and I have a really good memory. So like if someone tells me something once, like, and especially if it's something like personal about them, like I'll remember it and I'll make sense of it in like other situations, like if it is like relevant. And yeah, does that answer that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's interesting because like everything you said, I agree with, because I also have a really good memory. It's like it's weird though, and maybe you can relate to this. Like, um, I guess in a forest, I only like I. It's like I don't see, or like maybe like in a crowd of people, I only see a certain number of people. I don't see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's like I kind of have like a weird where I just don't remember certain details, but when I like focus in on somebody, like for example, a friend or relationship or anything, it's like I remember everything. Like I remember people's birthdays, like just different things about them. And let's see. Um, Jeffrey Sherman said that you sound like an amazing girlfriend.
I'd like to think I would be.
I feel like you would be.
I am the best gift giver.
Really?
Yes. I love to brag about that. Like yeah. Whether it be for a holiday or not, like I am the best gift giver ever.
That's awesome.
Which is in part of like, you know, you got to know a lot about someone to get them something that's really important to them. So, and I love giving gifts. So.
Well, people have some high praise for you. They're saying they like that you're being open, that you seem like a sweet girl. Let's see. Someone asked, or someone said, not knowing how to talk dirty or to flirt with girls that I don't know, even if they are obviously showing that they want something because of politeness, or I don't know, is this a high FE thing? I think that is. I mean, what about you? Do you flirt with people?
Okay, I like to think that I flirt with people, but I think me showing off that I'm smart and that I'm like funny in a witty way is a way to flirt with people, which it is not. But or I feel like me proving that I like remember a lot of things about people is like my way of being like, hey, I like you if I remembered all these things about you. And like I have weird ways of flirting that I realize now are not flirting. So I guess that's it.
So you don't go up to someone and say, hey boo, like, or you don't like do like a cheesy pickup line?
Oh no, I mean, unless we've already like it's already an established thing, but that would never be my my approach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've always kind of felt awkward about like how people flirt. Like, I've never really been comfortable with people. I mean, especially guys that I'm not dating, saying like things like, "Oh, you're hot" or "You're sexy" or something like that. That's like a turn off to me. Like,
me too.
Sounds really weird, but yeah.
It's kind of like the equivalent to small talk for me. Like, don't like flirting is like small talk to me. It doesn't like mean anything to me. And also like words of affirmation is not like my love language because I feel like, you know, anyone can say the right thing. Anyone can, you know, they're like, oh, girls like to be told they're beautiful. I'm gonna tell her she's beautiful. Like, what if you don't even think I'm beautiful? Like,
Yeah.
Things like that. Can I turn my light on real quick? Because I realized.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I should turn my light on, but I was like, I don't want to get up. Like, I don't know what's worse, me having to get up or me sitting here in the dark.
No, that's okay. Now people can see your beautiful face. Just like we talk about how you don't like to be called. Yeah, no, what are your love languages, by the way? That kind of goes into it.
I think it goes back and forth, my top two, between quality time and acts of service. Which, I mean, quality time, like, I feel like I don't need an explanation for that. That's obvious. But the thing with acts of service is that, like, I think having FE, like, you know, you're always like considering like the values of like the group. So, you know, I do a lot of, I have had a history of doing a lot of things for people that I didn't want to do because I thought that was like an expression of love. And it's like, if I care about this person, like I have to put them before me. And if, you know, I love this person, or if this person is going to feel valued by me, like I have to do whatever they ask me to do, whether I want to or not. Like, you know, loving someone, and even if it's a friend, like, you know, loving someone doesn't mean it's always going to be easy for you. And expressing love isn't always going to, you know, be easy for you. So I think acts of service, like, you know, anyone can like pick you up a little gift, or, you know, anyone can say, oh, I love you. Anyone can give you a hug. And like, you know, if they like you, anyone can spend their time with you. But like, not everyone's going to like, you know, want to give you a ride and like spend their gas and time on you. And not everyone's going to, want to help you organize your garage on their day off. So like, it's like when people are like sacrifice their time and like their energy and like their efforts to really do something for you that they may not want to do, or even if they want to, it's like, it's still like, whose idea of fun is like organizing a garage on their day off, so like things like that, like it really just proves to me, I feel like, that they love me when they do something they don't want to do.
Henry agrees with that.
Right on, Henry.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what are you said that words of affirmation is that your lowest one?
I think it is either that one or physical touch, just depending on how I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah, I can understand that. Jeffrey Sherman said, intelligence and knowing someone or being known intimately are highly attractive to us. INFJs get your signals. We would feel you if you did that stuff to one of us. I agree. I think as INFJs, we kind of have this mutual understanding of one another, and like we appreciate when people are thoughtful. Yeah. Something I've noticed actually with dating Frank is how thoughtful he is and how sweet he is. Like he'll just send me something that he does that's really cute is he'll like write on a notepad or something just in his handwriting and then send it via text message, like saying, "Oh, thinking of you," instead of just like typing it out.
That is precious.
Yeah, that's precious.
That's very old soul-y too, to handwrite it instead of sending. Well, it's still coming through a message, but instead of typing it, like handwriting it.
Yeah, and he actually sent me a letter too, so it's a really sweet letter.
Oh,
I cried. I cried when I received it, and then I remember like the day later, he's like, I sent you a letter. I don't know if you got it. And I was like, yeah, I did. But yeah, I was like bawling. My mom's like, what's wrong with you? But someone said, Emily, my mini dachshund's name is Henry. That's cute. Yeah.
Oh my God. Puppy date or what?
Yeah, I love dogs. So
cute.
What's your favorite animal?
I think orcas, killer whales.
Oh, really?
Because I saw Free Willy when I was 5.
That's so cool.
I love them. Like I like to watch documentaries sometimes, and I'll watch like a documentary about like, just all ocean life and I'll be fine. I watch a documentary about whales and I cry. I don't know why. They're just so beautiful to me. I cry. I hear dolphin or whale noises like on a soundtrack. I cry. Like I love them so much.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Someone said sloths all the way. Show Media said that. Yeah,
yes.
Sloths are cool.
Those are my second favorite animal. I remember like in elementary school, which the reason why I didn't say sloth is because they're like such a meme now. It's kind of sad. But in elementary school, like, how you would go through like the different categories in your science book, like, it would have like the bugs section, then like the like planet section, and then like you'd get to like the rainforest section. And we always had like a little bit of a lesson on sloths for some reason. And I remember ever since I was like 6 and then throughout elementary school realizing that like we would talk about sloths every year, and like I love them. I connect. I feel it. The connection was just there. And I had before like sloths were like so commercialized, like you couldn't just go to the store and find a sloth stuffed animal. So I had to like, my mom tracked down like a little sloth beanie baby for me. And it was the most precious thing I had.
Oh.
I loved him so much.
So cute. Well, now you have like so many tiny sloth things.
Oh my God, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, going back to orcas, I didn't ever do this, and I kicked myself because I really wanted to, but I in Seattle, you can actually see orcas like near the coast. Like you can do little trips, I feel like I forget what it's called. Puget Sound punches. I don't know. I forget what it's so I should know this. I lived there for almost a year, but yeah, it's really cool. And actually, like in Seattle, I think you'll appreciate this, but they're like bus pass and like yeah, I think it's just the bus pass or just public transportation. It's called an orca pass.
Oh my God, how
It has
cute!
a little orca on it. Well, it's like not like a cute orca, but just like yeah.
I would be living. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did go. Fortunately and unfortunately, I did make my way to SeaWorld as a child before I knew how awful SeaWorld was.
Yeah. SeaWorld makes me sad.
Yeah, it's like I would love to. I mean, now that they're like, I mean, it's still like they're in captivity, so I cannot support that. But like now that they have their more like, what do they call it? It's like a live, just a natural experience. Now it's not a show. I'm like, I wish I could just go like for the one time and just be there with them, like in my adult life, not in my child life. But I can't do that. I can't. My morals. I have morals.
Yeah. I don't like SeaWorld anymore. Yeah, I was kind of like you. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then like going back as like I went back as like a teenager and I'm just like, this is depressing.
Right. I think the last time I went to SeaWorld I was like 10.
Yeah.
But I've gone whale watching a couple times and I cried on the boat. Like, oh, you know, the salt water, it's just the ocean air, it's getting in my eyes.
I should like paint you a picture of an orca.
I would cry.
Really?
Probably.
Ooh, maybe I'll do that for Christmas.
I would. Well, that would give me like a million reasons to cry.
Okay. By the way, it's kind of. I feel like it's a little bit weird. I don't know. I actually maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will. I've actually like asked people like I guess these people kind of know me in real life. They're friends of mine, so I can understand that it's not as awkward. But like I asked on Facebook that I like if you send me your address, I'll send you something. And I'm like planning on like sending people art or something or just like I don't know whatever. And I've gotten a few people send me their address, but it's a bit different because it's like friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if people aren't comfortable with that.
Oh, I'd send you my address in a heartbeat.
Well, I will. I want to send you. I want to make you.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That is so sweet. That would just warm my heart so much. For so like wow.
No, I want to do it. I think it would. What colors do you like, or do you want to just do black and white for the orca?
I think black and white. I have a lot of black and white in my room, so that would be great. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my God. I'm so excited. That is so sweet of you.
No, I mean, I really want to get back into art. Like, I've been kind of obsessed with watching. It's so weird because I'm not in high school anymore, but like, I've been watching people. I just got into RISD. It's like this art school, or like just like showing their art portfolios or like AP art, and I think it's just like my brain telling me I need to get back into art. I need to like actually create stuff. So this is kind of pushing me to do that. So.
Oh wow, that's a good way to push yourself for that.
Well, I would love to. No, I want to send you something.
Oh my God.
Let's see if anybody has any questions for you. It may take a second for people to come up with questions because it kind of lags.
I saw a funny question earlier, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, wait, I lost it. Do you enjoy instrumental music, movies, backing track, and then motorcycle noises? Dubstep. Okay, the thing with instrumental music is I'll put a song on, and then at the end of it, I'll be like, did I just listen to a song? Like, I blank out when I listen to instrumental music. And not in a good way. It's like I forget where I am, what I'm doing. Like, I don't hear the music. So not that I dislike it, but I have a hard time enjoying it. Movies backing track, is that like soundtracks, or what does that mean?
Wait, which one is that?
It's
That's part of the question.
Yeah, it's from Edson Jr.
Yeah, movies back. I think it's maybe.
Soundtracks. I love the High School Musical soundtrack. Does that count? Motorcycle noises. They sound cool, but they when they sneak up on me, they frighten me.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you hear it? Can you hear that in the background? I don't know if you can, but a motorcycle or something just went by.
Oh no, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Dang. But it was meant to be. Dubstep. I liked techno music when I like 10 years ago before it was dubstep, before it evolved into that, and now dubstep is on a whole nother field that my brain can't handle. It's chaotic to me.
I don't like sometimes. Okay, for like weird dance parties or something, because like this is something that I'm gonna make Frank do in the future. I've talked about this for like even his birthday, is doing like a dance party. Actually, I don't know if I did talk about that to him. Maybe it's to someone else. So Frank, if you're watching this, I think it'd be so cute if we had like a little dance party. But I think it's fun to kind of dance to dubstep sometimes, but I'm not like, I like to do like crazy weird dances, but it's definitely not something that I listen to all the time. I think I listen to it when I work out, and that's about it.
Oh, that'd be nice to like have your own little rave without having to like actually go to like a big scary rave.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to do, that's why, okay, so I don't know if you've like seen this in some of my videos so far, but I think I've mentioned this before, but I actually like would throw a lot of parties in college.
I did see you mention something about parties once.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like I wouldn't provide any alcohol for the parties. People would just bring stuff if they wanted to, but like, I didn't allow like drugs and stuff, or like, so they were pretty clean parties, but everybody like loved the parties because it was just like bringing people together, and we just kind of, it just was like, who cares? Like, we're not trying to be, this cool party. It's just gonna be fun. So.
Oh my god, that sounds so great.
Yeah. It would be cool to one day like do a meetup where, I mean, I don't even like to call it like a meetup, but it would be cool to like meet somewhere. I would say probably in the US, because I think most people live in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Find a location and just like meet and just like have fun. I think
that would be so cool. Oh my gosh. But you'd have to, like, every time you went, like, you traveled to a different part in the US, you'd have to do one there too, because, like, you got viewers all over.
my like tiny audience. No, I mean, you're right. But yeah, I think it's fun. I actually have met up with people so far, like off of YouTube, and I love it. So I'm always up for meeting up with people. So people have asked, Logan J asked, what are your thoughts on NTs? Like,
honestly, I think I've only known one INTP. I've had a few other friends that were ENTPs, as well as my best friend, and I really like NTs because if I'm with a feeler, we get too feely, we get too in our emotions. And I don't know, I like someone that like brings out the more rational side of me and the more like technical side of me. And I don't like, I feel like for dating purposes, I would prefer to date an NT. I don't know if I could date a sensing, but if I do, then I just haven't met the right one. So I love NTs and I love being around them. I feel like they bring out a really good side of me, and yeah, I love them. I love them.
Well, I mean, this kind of goes into it, but it's either Lewis or Luis asked, what do you think about ENTJs?
Okay, I've only met two. One of them being my dad. So, and then another one being a girl in one of my classes this semester who I don't know very well. So they're same personality type, but like completely opposite. He's an older man. She's a girl my age. I've grown up with him and know him. I don't know her very well, but I really like them. I like having conversations with them. I like their humor, and I feel like they get some people don't. Well, maybe it's because I'm not funny, but maybe some people don't get like my more Whittier is a city. My more witty type of humor. Some people don't get that. ENTJs usually do. So I like them. I noticed one thing with my dad is sometimes it's hard for him to see things from a perspective that is not aligned with his values, which like he just can't consider it. He doesn't like really, he can't even like look into that perspective. And I don't know if that's just him or if like all ENTJs are like dead set on like what they believe. I haven't like had enough experience with them to know that way, but I noticed that it can be kind of hard to like reason with him. So I don't know if that's him or them, but I have a good time with them. Sometimes the girl that I met, I did not think we got along at first. And that was just like a little bit of my own insecurity and just like given the circumstances that we were in when we first met. But we've really, she's a lot nicer than I thought she was going to be. And we've really like connected more. So I like them. I like ENTJs.
Well, it's interesting you say that because ENTJs are actually our supervisor in socionics. So this is I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, I'm almost 100% sure that ENTJs are INFPs or IEIs, INFJs in Myers-Briggs supervisor. So this is an imbalanced relationship, which means that they kind of don't really value us as much as we value them. Mm-hmm. So it's like an imbalance. Like they kind of see us, they probably see us as irrational, and they probably see us as, they just kind of don't know where we're coming from, and it bothers them. So it's interesting that you have that experience, especially having your dad. And one of my best guy friends is actually an ENTJ, and I definitely can see, that kind of supervisee relationship with him, where it was like, okay, like, what are you doing, Emily? But I also get along with him pretty well. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's two extremes. Like you can get you can get along with them very well on like your rational, like intellectual and like intuitive level, but when it comes to like your feelings level, like they don't speak that language at all.
Yeah. I've definitely seen that with my friend Patrick. I actually went to China with my friend Patrick. I did a study abroad, and he and I stayed later for our study abroad, and we wanted to go to North Korea, but we never did.
Oh.
Probably for the best. But let's see. Some of the comments. What do you think between the similarities of the systems both MBTI and astrology offer?
Ooh.
Do you know much about astrology?
I know about not too much, but I do have a couple comments on that. I have noticed I don't want to say many because like I don't know many people, but quite a few of the ENTPs that I've met that have been, well, I've only known one ENTP female. So basically a lot of the ENTPs that I've met have been Sagittariuses. And I find that very interesting because Sagittarius men are known for like, they can be like selfish and kind of like self-pursuing and like, not like in generally, but this is like focusing on their weaknesses. Because, you know, we all got our weaknesses and our strengths. So, but right now I'm focusing on weaknesses. But they can be known to be selfish and kind of like self-pursuing and just kind of like get what they want out of you. And it's weird that I found that a lot of the Sagittariuses that I have met have been ENTPs. And I'm an INFJ and I'm a Gemini, and I feel like INFJs are usually like people of extremes, and so are Geminis. So I find that interesting. And oh wait, I've known a few INFPs that are Cancers, and Cancers are very emotional, and so are INFPs. So I don't know, like, I mean, astrology isn't really like the MBTI is more like function based, so it's really just like who you are at your core. And astrology, I don't know where that comes from. But it is strange that like things that are more like factual based versus like whatever astrology is based on, it is weird that they do have some overlap, or just even in the few things that I've seen, considering I don't know much about astrology.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. I have seen some patterns. I actually know a lot about astrology. I used to be extremely obsessed with astrology for like the majority of my life. But I don't really talk about astrology too much. And I also don't let on how much I know about astrology.
I wish I knew more about it. I do find it interesting, but just how much people kind of, you know, say it's not science-based, or like just the way people have made it to what it is now, like it just not what it is, but what people have made it to be, kind of like made me, you know, kind of lean away from it. But I do wish I knew more about it. So that's really cool. Sorry to cut you off.
No. I think that was a valid comment. I agree with that. I think that it's unfortunate because people just look at the sun sign, like the first sign, like for example, that you're a Gemini or I'm a Leo, or like, you know, stuff like that. And it's interesting. I have seen similarities with the types and their MBTI. But yeah, there's a lot more to astrology, and I don't really talk about it too much just because it's just very in depth to like really kind of have a grasp on, and I don't know, but it is interesting. And if you ever want to like talk about it, even like privately, we can talk about it, because I actually can read charts. I don't really do it very often, but I know how to do that. So whoa, we got a lot of comments in this little bit. So I saw a comment. Where is it? I saw something about things to say on your first date.
Oh, I see that right here. I was reading it while you were pending what you were going to say. I was like, oh, I wonder if this is the one. Yeah, do you have any go-to topics of conversation for a first date as an INFJ? I haven't really been on many like first dates. One of the topics though would probably be, what is your personality type? um I don't know, what do I kind of get tired of like um I just like I don't like small talk, so it's like, or if I don't like know the person well, like I kind of like to talk about like what is going on in the environment, just to like kind of get a read on like what kind of person they are. Like I like to see the way that like people react to things and what they think about things. Like I get a really, because people can like say whatever they want about themselves to make themselves look good. So I kind of like just like to watch their unfiltered opinion on things, because you know, if I'm asking them what they think of something that's happening right in front of them, they don't have time to come up with like, you know, a real elaborate response that they think would impress me. Like so I guess, I don't know, I like to see how they react to things, see what their thoughts on things are, because I figure all the more personal stuff about them like will come. Or maybe like, you know, if I start, I probably would be texting someone before I go on a date with them. So like, you know, we probably already like exchanged like music interests and movie interest and things like that. I always tell people I don't like movies and that I watch the same 5 TV shows over and over again.
What
So that's usually The Office, Criminal Minds, How I Met Your Mother before they took it off of Netflix. New Girl, and what was the other one? Well, the last one kind of like differs. Like sometimes I'll rewatch Parks and Rec, or sometimes I'll rewatch. I did used to rewatch Bob's Burgers before they took that off of Netflix too, or Boy Meets World. I love Boy Meets World.
Yeah, that's sad that they took Bob's Burgers off of Netflix.
I have a whole rant about Netflix, but I can't go there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like first dates are hard. And I definitely can relate to the fact of having someone take the like personality test, or like knowing, kind of asking what their personality is, because I've done that as well. Like, actually, I don't know if he's watching right now, but there's a guy, his name's Zach, and he actually has a YouTube channel as well. But we actually met in Seattle. I actually went on a date. We went on 2 dates with each other, and like on my first date, I told him to take the test like when we were on our date. And, like, I think he's a great guy. I kind of dropped off after the second date, and I feel really bad about that. So Zach, if you're watching this, it was, you know, nothing to do with you. I'm just a butthole sometimes.
It wasn't meant to be.
But he's like such a sweet guy. He's an ENFJ, and we still keep up with each other like on Instagram, and I think we're friends on Facebook, and I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. So you guys, he has like a YouTube channel about he works on cars and stuff. Anyways, yeah, I feel like I kind of will ask deep questions with people, and I'm kind of the same way, where I ask those questions beforehand, and it's always awkward. Like, it's awkward going on first dates with people if you don't know them. So, yeah.
And it just kind of like, it scares me to go places with people I don't know, because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, that's dangerous. So I don't really like put myself in that position too often. But I like to know about people's families.
Yeah, me too. Like, I've actually already met like Frank's family and stuff, and I really I like them a lot. I think they're really sweet.
Oh, that's good. That's important.
Yeah, no, it is really important. Actually, like, Frank said that his mom doesn't really usually like people that he dates, and we were talking for like 4 hours. Like, I really like his mom, and that's very important to me. So
I feel like INFJs are really good with parents. Like, or maybe that's just me bragging, but I feel like that's a thing. I feel like INFs are good with parents.
I think so too. I think we just kind of know how to put people at ease. And I personally, I get along with. I mean, obviously, I get along with people like my own age, but I always feel more comfortable with either older people or like younger people. I mean, it's now in my adulthood, I've like become way more comfortable being around people my own age. But for the longest time, I used to talk to adults like as an adult. Like, I mean, even though I was a child or a teenager, it was fun. I don't know.
Well, did people often tell you that like you seemed or were very mature for your age?
Yeah. So like my dad remarried at about the same time um, your mom and stepdad got married. I I think I was like 11 or 12, um, and I used to kind of counsel them as a child or teenager, and I have a lot of memories of myself like counseling adults or just talking deeply with adults. Um, and I just like I wouldn't really view them as, I mean, I would be respectful, but I wouldn't really view them as greater than myself. I kind of did with my mom, but as far as other adults, I would just kind of see them as human beings and just treat them as such.
I get that. I really get that.
Maybe that's, I mean, it makes sense that you're like really good friends with your parents. Like, I can understand that. I don't really have that relationship as much with my parents. I mean, I still consider my parents like, you know, I love my parents, but my mom and I really clash. We're very different. She's an ISFP, and my what?
ISFP, like that word that type triggers me. Like I totally get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, in socionics, like again, so in socionics we're INFPs and they're ISFJs, and in socionics there are there are benefactor, and so it's kind of like the supervisor relationship, but a little less. And actually, I'm pretty sure one of my ex roommates, was an ISFP, and she like despised me. But
oh gosh, like, it hurts my heart.
Yeah. What's your experience with ISFPs?
I had a really big falling out with one that was actually like my best friend at that time, and it was awful. And then I think one of the guys that dropped off on me, I think he was an ISFP, but I think they have, is introverted intuition their tertiary function?
That's their primary function. That's their first function. Introvert. Oh, no. Introverted intuition. Sorry. Yes, it is their tertiary. I was like, that was like such a weird. I was thinking introverted feeling. No. Yeah, it is. It is their tertiary.
Okay. So where my class comes in with them is we'll have a similar idea about something or like a similar opinion or just similar like knowledge on a subject or whatever. And I will just go so much deeper into it than they will. And either they don't care to continue, they get bored of the conversation, or they act like they like are keeping up with what I'm saying when they're not. Or just, which the ones I've experienced. But I mean, not to say that they, you know, they're much, I like that they're good with animals and that like they're very artistic and they're much more like expressive than I could ever be. So I'm not just saying that they don't have their strengths, but this is just where my class comes in with them. And it's weird trying to be on the same level with someone that, and they're trying to use the same function that you're using when they're in completely different spots of development with it. And they just kind of, or the ones that I've known, like they see the world through like what, through their own eyes, and like how they feel and how they react in the situation is the truth of the matter for them. Like they didn't really step out of that in the situations that I had with them. So it just kind of led to like a really big falling out, because like I tried to look at it through, you know, my perspective, their perspective, every perspective, and they were just like, this is how I feel, so this is what it is. And I'm like, okay, like, but I'm telling you, like, there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
They're very reactive, or they can be, I feel like.
Oh, I do find them very reactive. And I also, I think, have you noticed that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but with me, I've noticed that ISFPs, and speaking of Myers-Briggs terms, they don't, like, they get really attached to people. So, like, in the sense that they'll, for example, I mean, whatever, like, hey roommates in Seattle, if you're watching this, I made a video about you. Where I talked about the grape and the orange. But so if you guys are watching, or anybody that knows them, great. But anyways, I did find with the ISFP, or the orange, as I've referred to her, she does not. She was very possessive of my INTJ roommate. If I like was closer to, if she felt like I was closer to her or some of her other friends, she like got really jealous, or at least that was my impression.
It's because they're competitive. I feel like it's the competitiveness in them.
Yeah, she would take it out on me and really did not. She did not appreciate it. Like I remember like some distinct moments where it was like, because I was like friendly with people, and I wasn't even like trying to like steal them from her, but she just like saw it that way for some reason. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember like, because she didn't like you from the beginning, right? Like you two were like never actually like friends.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, mine was like, she was my best friend, but like she was always in competition with me. And like, I'm not a competitive person, but when people try to compete with me, I'm like, no, like I'm going to beat you at whatever it is. And I'm going to make it look like I didn't try. And so you feel stupid. I can be real evil sometimes.
No, oh my gosh, I want to make a video about this. I think INFJs can be so petty. Like,
oh my God.
So like we're like so good at being like these like secret bitches.
Yes, I tell people all the time. I'm like, you may think I'm nice. I'm a petty bitch. Like, I'm sorry to say it. Like, I am. You know it. This is how I feel. This is what brings me joy. I like.
Well,
not brings me joy, but
no, it kind of does in a way. Like it's so like it's bad. Okay, so like I really think people should get into socionics because I think it's so interesting. But like our quadra, like that we're in, is the beta quadra, and it's like the most dramatic quadra. It's like the most like theatrical quadra. It's with the ENFJs. So ENFJs, INFJs or INFP in socionics, ISTPs or ISTPs or ISTJs in socionics, and ESTPs. And so like all of those like types intermix in this beta quadra. And I've actually, so I made a video after the relationship Q&A with Frank, and I was talking about like the unrequited love experiences that I have. Like people are like, why are you bringing, like some people commented, why are you bringing this up and stuff. And like I say, like, oh, I don't think, you know, they're watching. You know, I actually feel like they probably have watched my videos because I have posted videos to Facebook and they're both Facebook friends of mine. So I'm just like a petty bitch.
Oh, look at my new boyfriend. Look what you're missing out on.
No, I just do petty things. I've even told Frank this, but yeah, maybe
Oh.
that's not good. But yeah, I'm a petty person sometimes.
Oh my god. I would love to see a video about like the evil side of INFJs from you. That would because too many people say that, like, you know, oh, we're people pleasers, or like we put people's feelings before our own, and we're like empaths and all this. It's like, okay, but like I feel evil on the inside. Like, is this just me?
That's interesting that you feel that way. Because okay, the thing about so I know Frank made a video recently about the difference between INTJs and INFJs, and I don't think he mentioned this in there. But if I ever made a comparison video, I definitely would mention this. Is so INTJs look very cold on the outside, and they're very like almost robotic in a way. But in the inside, they have this, because of introverted feeling, you know, the extroverted thinking, they look like these robots, and then the introverted feeling is like this fiery passion. And I'm not saying that they like, you know, they care for like as much for people in the same sense that INFJs do, but they definitely have this like burning passion. And it's like a lot more, it's like a more beautiful inside. Like it's like a more dreamy inside in a way, whereas INFJs come off as like these like warm people that are just like very caring. And I do care about people. I love people. But in the inside, we have, instead of having our FE show and like, you know, being with groups of people, appeasing to people, in the inside we have introverted thinking, RTI, and it's very logical and cold. And yeah, I very calculating and yeah.
That's so true. That's so right. Like
Yeah. That's just funny. But my sister-in-law said I'm passive aggressive just the other day when I was explaining a situation with some people I'm helping direct a play with. You know, I get that. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of comments that we've gotten actually on this video. People are very interested by this conversation. So.
Wow. I know there's like 3 comments right here just about what we have said in the last couple minutes.
Yeah.
Or a minute.
Do you think you're passive aggressive?
I think I'm passive aggressive. Like I think I just completely skip that and go straight to the door slam. Like it's so bad. Like but that's kind of like to save my own ass, because like I don't want people to like have anything to say again. Like if we're in conflict, like I don't want someone to say like, oh, well, you know, you made this comment or you did this and this hurt my feelings, or you were rude because you were passive aggressive about this or whatever. So, and like if like someone makes me mad, or like I don't like something that someone did, like I can't even look at them. I can't be around them. I can't speak to them. Like I just have like nothing to say to them. So I think that saves me from being passive aggressive towards people.
Oh my gosh, I'm the same way. It's really sad. Okay, you guys are getting like the mean side of Emily, I guess, in this video. But like I will see people, and this sounds really horrible, but like I will see people as like they are dead to me. Like in my mind, they're dead. And like, you know what? I'll be able to go in a room with them, and I'll just put on I'll be able to interact with them in such a way that's cordial normally. But there has been situations where I'm still in this like phase. Like I do have this phase with people where I door slam them, and I have like this where I'm just not quite all the way emotionally out. So there's kind of a little bit of a passive aggressive vibe to it. Mm-hmm. One girl that I know, in the past, you know, she kind of like really stabbed me in the back. And I remember what I did is it was actually we were in Model UN together, and my friend Anna was actually chairing with me. We were chairing a Model UN conference, and anybody that's watching this probably will know who this is, that knows me at this time. But you know, I really liked her, and she really stabbed me in the back. She's actually, I've referred to her in videos as an INTJ. She is, I've talked about her, I think in my authenticity video, and I think another one-sided friendship video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you watched it?
I think I watched like half of it. I think I got like interrupted, but I remember this introduction.
Okay. Yeah, it's that girl, and you know, it's a shame, but she really did like stab me in the back, and so, and I wasn't perfect either, but during this like Model UN conference, I was the director of the conference, and I think she was the assistant director, and I think Anna was either a chair, just like, I don't know. She was like someone that was helping us out. She might have been like this, I forget what it's called. But anyways, I like had this other girl. I had Anna where she was visible and I was visible. And I put that girl behind the projector so people couldn't see her.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
It really be like the littlest, pettiest things that like just fuel that fire in your heart and really help you go to sleep at night.
Yeah, and I wasn't like overly mean to her or anything, but I just like, you know, I knew she didn't want to be sitting there, and because I was the one that was in charge, I placed her there. So.
Oh my God, that's great. It's so hard because like my mom being an ESFP, like she's really, really nice. And like, she just, I mean, she can be mean if she has to stand up for herself or like for me or, you know, someone that she cares about or like something important. But when it comes to like little petty things, like she doesn't, like if someone cuts her in line at the grocery store, she doesn't care. If someone cuts me in the line at the grocery store, I will give them the evil eye all the way out. And hope that bad things happen to them. Hope that karma comes for them. My mom got apparently bigger things to worry about in life than that. So she thinks
I catch myself as well doing that, and I try not to do that because I think it's, you know, as far as like going back to my roommate, that, you know, she's done some pretty, you know, from what I know, some not so good things to me and to other people, and I just think, oh, karma's gonna get her in the end. But yeah, I didn't react to her, you know, like I could have, but yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, but my mom thinks I'm like the evilest person sometimes. And I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, Mom, you need to be meaner to people. You can't let them walk all over you. You can't let them get away with this. Like, people have consequences for their actions. And sometimes you got to be that consequence. And she thinks I'm so evil sometimes. That's kind of like one of the little areas where we clash. Like, I just want her to like have more of a backbone, and she probably wants me to be a little more less petty.
That's so funny. Yeah, my nickname for like my good friends, it sounds bad. Well, I've said this before, but like my two nicknames from them are Dictator and Satan. And I don't think I really, you know, I do have tendencies, you know, I think I'm actually a pretty like sweet leader, and also I don't think I'm like all like the most evil person, but I do have some petty, you know, people that are friends with me in real life, they've known some of the petty stuff that I've done. But okay, so Ryan actually asked, have either of you experienced INFJ rage before? Have you?
Okay, I feel like I've heard of this before, but I don't know exactly quite what that means.
Like, I think from my understanding, when we're pushed to a point that we just like snap, and it's like a completely different person almost. Like, so the stereotype for an INFJ is the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I can get that. For me, I've snapped. I've done that before, and it never has been really with anybody but like my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done that with my dad too. But yeah, it hasn't happened much, and it's not something that I'm proud of or something. But yeah,
I don't think I've never like I don't think I've ever like snapped directly like at someone, but like I've like if I were to talk to like my best friend about like something that like really bothered me or like that really made me mad, I'll kind of like snap in that sense, but maybe that doesn't really apply. Like, I mean, I really do get heated and I really get like I yell and I scream and I throw a fit, but never like I've never like done that actually to the person that I'm mad at. Like I kind of do it like when I recap what happened to someone else, and then it kind of just like really obstructs like my view of them. Like I can't be nice to them anymore. I can't even like I like I said earlier, like I can't look at them, I can't speak to them, I can't, they're just dead to me. But I don't think I've ever like directly snapped at someone, but I have gotten like really heated over things and people and gone on a rage, but never to that person.
yeah. I think that's how I mostly am. Um, but yeah, I can understand getting upset. Like I understand that stereotype. Um, so we got another question. Is there in anything in specific that you don't like about modern society?
That is a loaded question.
Yeah, that is.
What do you not like about modern society?
I think in some ways, you know, technology is awesome, and I really love technology, and I'm glad, you know, I think it would be cool to travel back in time, but I really do like the period that we are in now, um, especially for women in general. But I would say probably sometimes technology gets in the way of human connection, and I think, as far as dating goes, I don't really feel this way right now just because like I am in a relationship, but I find that like back in the day it was easier to date, and like people would just go on, people would, when they made a plan, they would show up. It's like, and like I guess talking on the phone and stuff like that. I think it's nice not to always be near our phones, but I am pretty addicted to my phone, and so I guess that's kind of one of the main things. What about you?
Um, okay. I feel like humans, like, we are animals. Like, I don't see us as like, I mean, yes, we have like a higher like consciousness than like most other animals do, although supposedly dolphins are smarter than us. And like, I've heard people say like if whales had hands, they would have cities under the ocean, but they don't need cities, they don't need buildings, they don't need technology like we do. But for some reason we think we need all this stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of see us more as like animals, and I feel like we are supposed to like live off the earth, and I feel like our purpose is to live. I don't feel like our purpose is to have like, I don't even feel like our purpose is to like have a government, go to school, have an education, have a job, have a career. Like, I just wish that, you know, we could, I mean, I'm nowhere near towards living this lifestyle. Like, I'm spoiled. I got a house. I go to the grocery store. I don't even have a garden. I can't even keep a succulent alive. So, but like,
Same.
I just really wish that like we could live more as like in our animal state of like what humans should be, like living off the land, and like, you know, our jobs should be sustaining ourselves. I don't think our job should be sitting in an office or whatever else it is. And I feel like even like modern medicine, I feel like we're just weakening our species. Like, we have no tolerance for anything anymore. Like, and just, you know, if there's a problem, like technology fixes it, which is, it's great in some ways, but on another hand, it's like, that's not how it works in like the animal world, you know, like, and that's part of the reason why like we have so many like, I just feel like environmental problems and just like so many conflicts like amongst like, you know, just people themselves. Like, if we were just like stripped to our core of like what we are and what we're supposed to be, aside from like all that we've built society up to be, like, the only conflict we would have is, you know, if we were alive and ate at the end of the day. And I feel like we'd be just so much more fulfilled if like we worked for, I mean, you know, you go to your job and like you get a paycheck, and yes, you're working for what you have, but like you're working for the money to buy you those things that other people worked for, you know. And we have so many things that we don't need, and which I like things, I like stuff, I like shopping. So like, yes, I have fallen victim to that, but we just have so much more than what we need, and we've made ourselves accustomed to conditions that are way more luxurious than what we need. And I just feel like everything that modern society is like weakening us. It's making us weak. Like, you know, like we're dependent on our phones, and we're dependent on caffeine, and we're dependent on prescription drugs, and we're just dependent on everything, when like we should just be dependent on ourselves, and whether we have food, and whether we have a family, and whether we have a roof over our head. I feel like, but we're just too far gone now for all that.
I can just picture in like 30 years you have like a commune or something. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. No, I really wish, but I'm like, I'm too spoiled. I'm too far gone. I can't, as much as I would want to. Every time I have this conversation with people, they're always like, just go buy a piece of land and have a farm. And I'm like, you don't understand. Society has ruined me already.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I think it is good to like be one with nature in some ways, and like, as far as like animals go, I think we just don't understand animals in a lot of ways. And like, I personally think that cognitively there's a lot more that we don't know about, like, say, cats and dogs that
Mhm.
you know, they let on. I think it's so stupid when people think that animals are just like, some people see animals as like accessories, and I don't get that. And I mean, I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan, but I do really appreciate, I don't know, that side, even though that's kind of a random little aside, I guess.
Well, I always like to say, like, you know, there's animals that are blind, like they have no eyesight, and like that's how they're made, and they like, but they have like a heightened sense of smell, and like just senses. Like, if we're blind, we're disabled. So how does that make us any better than them? Like, animals have different abilities that we don't have, and just because like we have different abilities, like, doesn't mean we're any better. Like, they don't have a consciousness, but like we can't be blind. So, you know, I think it all balances out somewhere based on like what each animal does or doesn't have, and we're an animal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that we're animals. It's a lot of us versus them kind of mentality, and I understand that. But um, let's see. Are you interested in spirituality? I always have a problem saying that word for some reason. Spirituality. Um, do you think every personality have a? Do you think every personality has a different spiritual mission?
Ooh, wow. That's a good question. Um, I was raised Christian, and I went to a Christian elementary school, and I went to church up until the time I was 16. So, but something just never, well, when I was little, like I went along with it, but by the time like I was a teenager, like something just didn't like sit right with me about it. And so I try to lean, I'm, I think there is a higher being, but I think the higher being could even just be like the earth itself. Like, you know, we're always talking about, you know, what is there after death? Like, what's our purpose? Like, why are we here? But it's like, how is not just like being a part of, like, you look at the entire solar system, like, how is just being a part of this thing not like your greater purpose? You know, like, you are here, you are what is part of what makes this thing function. Like, and I feel like that's pretty, just the way I look at it, like I feel like that's pretty like spiritual in my eyes. But and I know for like certain religions and like certain people on like certain spirituality paths, like their answer may be like, no, you know, like God is the only way. Like he's the, like, I forget the Bible verse, but like basically like it is the Christian God, or like no God, you know. But I kind of do think that I don't think Christianity works for everybody. It didn't work for me. Christianity, I felt like, made me a hypocrite, and I don't think that's the case for all people, but I noticed me and a lot of people that I knew, Christianity made them a hypocrite. So I don't think that was a spiritual path for them. Other people, even though I don't personally, I don't like or agree with Christianity, other people, I see how it's enhanced their lives and made them a better person and really like been what they needed. So I do think that everyone has a different spiritual path.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it just depends on the person. And I mean, as far as the personality types, I don't think that, I mean, I think everybody's different. So yeah, maybe different personality types have different leanings. There's certain personality types that may like organized religion more than other types, and so on and so forth. I think we should probably end this chat soon because it's been going on for a while.
Oh, yeah, the sun has come and went where I am.
Yeah. It's at least been going on for 2 hours. So,
is there like not a timestamp on here somewhere?
it's on the video.
Oh, I love.
It says started streaming 2 hours ago, and I don't know if it's actually just 2 hours or if it's more than that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think we should both get going.
Right. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to chat with you and everybody else on here. This was really fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad, and I want to send you an orca photo, so or like a picture that I draw.
So should I send it to the same email? Is that where you would?
Yeah, that's like my YouTube email. I mean, my normal email, like people can send me emails there. It's just pakoki@gmail.com, but I just like having the pakoki2@gmail.com because it like organizes it more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I get like junk mail and stuff on the normal email.
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah. So, do you have any final thoughts before we end the chat?
Well, again, just thank you. And it was so nice to meet you computer face to computer face. And yeah, I mean, I've never really like done anything like this or like reached out to like anyone that I've like watched. I don't even hardly comment on like videos or like things. So, but I just really like was really drawn to you, and like it just really means
Aww.
a lot to me that like, you know, you responded and you were so like, you know, welcoming, because then I would have been like really sad.
Cry. Well, I try to be. It is becoming a little overwhelming because, like,
Right.
I've noticed that a lot of people have. I mean, obviously, I've done a lot of interviews just in the last couple of days, but yeah, I'm gonna try to be like really on top of like getting people scheduled for interviews, and I don't know. I really like doing this, and I mean, I truly like care about people. I love people, so it's fun to talk with.
Yeah, this is a really great way to connect with people. I mean, even for me, like I'm really introverted, but I don't feel like I don't talk to people or connect with them as much as I'd like to. So like this was just really like, it was really nice for me to spend my Saturday evening like this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, same with me. Yeah, if you ever want to talk like outside, like we don't have to obviously record it. I'm here, so I'm on. I mean, I go on, especially Instagram a lot. But as far as like, yeah, YouTube, email, maybe I'll give you my phone number.
Oh my god, I would.
No, I will. I just don't want. I mean, yeah, I can't give my phone number out to everybody just because it's weird. But
yeah, and then it would always be like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Especially like, I'm sure your channel's gonna get so much bigger. So.
well, maybe I don't know, but
I see it. I believe it.
Oh, thank you. I do have some good ideas for future videos. I've been like saving them until I move to my new house because I've just been like living in this like kind of interesting duplex since I've moved to South Carolina, and yeah, hopefully I'll be moving into a house and I'll actually have like a pretty setup that will be. It will. I think you'll, as someone that appreciates aesthetics, I think you'll appreciate it. I have a lot of big plans, so.
Oh, I'm so excited! But I definitely want to see that evil INFJ video.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it anytime soon. Well, when I mean by anytime soon, I don't know if I'll do it in the next, like in November. Hopefully, like once I get into the new house, I want to like. There's videos like I have lists and lists of videos that I want. I've kind of been biding my time until we move into the new house because I have so many good ideas and I just want to do it justice. So.
Right. Well, it sounds like a good plan. I'll be patient. I'll be waiting. I'll be enjoying all of them.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, people really love you just from this interview. I think everybody's been has said a lot of positive things, and yeah, we've gotten a lot of responses just in this chat.
Wow.
Yeah, you're such a. I mean, even though we're both little evils in our own way, I feel like you're so sweet. Like I definitely can feel a warmth, even though it's through technology.
Oh my god, I was wondering that before we even came on the chat. I was like, I wonder if the whole like INFJ like sensing emotion feely thing can work this way.
Yeah, I mean, I did an interview. I mean, I've done interviews with INFJs, but I did an interview with Denzel Menza. He's an ENFJ here on YouTube. He has a great channel. It was like the same thing where I like when I was talking to him, it was just like we clicked, and it was just like, yeah. But all right, we should probably go. I'm gonna end the broadcast. I hope you guys have a great night or morning or afternoon wherever you guys are, and yeah. So if you guys want to be interviewed, just like send me an email at mypakoki2@gmail.com or message me wherever. I would say the email is the best thing, but yeah. So have a great night. Bye.